Royce Keys ruins Smackdown. Contract chaos on Smackdown. Royce Keys strikes again. Gunther and Cody shocked. Smackdown signing chaos. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What if a contract signing was never actually meant to be signed in the first place? And what if Royce Keys didn't just interrupt Gunther and Cody Rhodes but walked into that ring with a plan that was already in motion long before the cameras even caught him? Because the more you replay what happened on Smackdown, the more it starts to feel like this wasn't just an interruption, it was a message, and maybe even a warning disguised as chaos. And that's the part that keeps sticking in your head long after the show ends, because nothing about it feels random anymore. The arena was already buzzing before anything even started, that strange kind of anticipation where fans don't even fully know what they're waiting for but they can feel something is off, like the air itself is heavier than usual, and commentary is trying to stay calm but even they sound like they're bracing for impact. Gunther comes out first, slow and methodical like always, no wasted movement, no emotion, just that cold presence that makes the entire building feel smaller the longer he stands in it, and you can hear the crowd react in that familiar way where respect and fear mix together, because with Gunther it's never just about walking to the ring, it feels like a countdown to something breaking. The contract is already sitting there in the ring, neatly placed on the table like it's supposed to represent order, but with Gunther standing near it, it already feels more like a trap than paperwork. Then Cody Rhodes enters and everything shifts again, because Cody doesn't walk out like a threat, he walks out like a man who believes in what this moment is supposed to mean, and that contrast between him and Gunther is exactly what makes the tension work, two completely different kinds of intensity standing on opposite sides of the same agreement. Cody acknowledges the crowd, but you can tell his focus is locked in on the ring, on the table, on what this contract represents, and for a brief moment it actually looks like this might go smoothly, which is honestly the most suspicious part of all of it, because in wrestling, when things look too clean, something is usually already waiting to ruin it. The official starts the formalities, trying to keep everything professional, trying to guide both men through the process, but nobody is really listening that closely, not Gunther, not Cody, because both of them are waiting for the same thing, the moment the pen hits the paper, because that's when everything becomes real. But then the atmosphere shifts in a way that doesn't need music or an announcement, it's just a feeling, like the crowd collectively senses a change, and the camera catches the stage, and there he is, Royce Keys standing there without entrance music, without warning, just appearing like he was always supposed to be there even though everyone knows he wasn't. The reaction is immediate confusion, because this is not on the schedule, this is not part of the segment, and the way he just stands there smiling makes it even worse, because it doesn't feel like he's lost, it feels like he's arrived exactly when he intended to. Commentary tries to make sense of it, but even they are hesitating, because Royce Keys walking into a Gunther and Cody Rhodes contract signing is not a small interruption, it's a disruption at the highest level. He starts walking down slowly, no rush, almost casual, and that calmness is what makes it unsettling, because if this was a mistake or an emotional outburst, there would be urgency, but there isn't any, just control. Gunther turns first, and that alone says a lot, because Gunther doesn't react unless something matters, and now his entire attention is locked onto Royce like he's trying to calculate what kind of problem this is going to become. Cody watches too, but differently, more curious than alarmed, like he's trying to read intent rather than threat. Royce slides into the ring like he owns it, no hesitation, no permission, just stepping right between two of the most dangerous men in WWE history like it's a normal meeting for him, and that alone resets the entire energy of the segment. For a few seconds nobody moves, nobody speaks clearly, and that silence is louder than anything else, because it's the kind of silence where everyone is waiting for the first mistake. Royce looks at the contract, then at Gunther, then at Cody, and he actually laughs slightly, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to show he finds the situation almost amusing, like they're all participating in something he already understands better than they do. Gunther finally speaks in that controlled tone that never really sounds safe, telling Royce he's out of place, that he needs to explain himself, and Cody stays quiet but alert, because Cody is always watching for patterns, for motives, for the moment something stops being random and starts becoming intentional. Royce doesn't argue, he doesn't panic, he just taps the contract like he's testing it, like he's checking if it's even real in the way they think it is, and that small gesture changes everything because it turns the contract from a symbol of agreement into a prop in someone else's game. Then he starts talking about control, about timing, about how matches like this don't really begin when they're signed but when someone decides they begin, and that's when Gunther takes a step forward, slow but heavy, like he's deciding whether Royce is about to become a problem that needs to be removed immediately. Cody shifts too, because now the situation is no longer just verbal, it's structural, it's unstable, it's one wrong move away from collapsing into violence. Royce continues, calm as ever, implying that this whole contract might not even mean what they think it means until certain conditions are met, and that's when the crowd starts reacting louder because now it's not just interruption, it's implication, it's suggestion that something about this entire match setup is not as official as it appears. Gunther gets closer again, Cody raises a hand slightly as if trying to hold the moment together, but Royce doesn't move away. Instead he lifts the contract itself like it's optional, like it belongs to whoever decides it belongs to them, and then he sets it back down carefully, almost respectfully, which somehow makes it more unsettling. Then without warning he snaps the pen in half, and that single action changes everything instantly, because it's not just destruction, it's symbolic rejection of the entire process, and the reaction from the crowd is immediate explosion. Gunther lunges, Cody intercepts, officials rush in, and suddenly the ring becomes a controlled storm of movement and tension, but Royce is already stepping back, already exiting the situation before it can consume him, because that's his pattern, he doesn't stay for consequences, he stays for impact. On the ramp he turns back, not angry, not excited, just satisfied in a way that feels more calculated than emotional, like he got exactly what he came for without needing to say it directly, and that alone makes everything worse, because now both Gunther and Cody are left inside the ring looking at the broken setup, trying to understand what just happened and why it feels like something bigger than a simple interruption. And that's where the real mystery sits, because if this was just about chaos, he would have attacked, if it was about attention, he would have stayed longer, but instead he broke the structure and left, which suggests the structure itself was the target. Backstage later, nothing is resolved, officials are frustrated, tensions are high, and both Gunther and Cody are shown separately trying to process the same question from different angles, Gunther leaning toward violence and retaliation, Cody leaning toward understanding and pattern recognition, and Royce Keys nowhere to be found, which somehow makes his presence feel even heavier than when he was in the ring. And now the entire match feels different, not cancelled, not removed, but altered, like something invisible has already been rewritten without anyone agreeing to it, and the real question becomes whether Royce Keys ruined a contract signing or whether he revealed that the contract signing was never the real control point to begin with, because if that's true, then this wasn't the start of a match between Gunther and Cody Rhodes, it was the start of something that includes Royce Keys whether they want it or not. And if you're still here, seriously, hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment your theory because this one is not going away quietly, and I really want to know what you think is actually going on, and thank you for watching all the way through, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. And now the entire match feels different, not cancelled, not removed, but altered, like something invisible has already been rewritten without anyone agreeing to it, and the real question becomes whether Royce Keys ruined a contract signing or whether he revealed that the contract signing was never the real control point to begin with, because if that's true, then this wasn't the start of a match between Gunther and Cody Rhodes, it was the start of something that includes Royce Keys whether they want it or not. And if you're still here, seriously, hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment your theory because this one is not going away quietly, and I really want to know what you think is actually going on, and thank you for watching all the way through, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.